1, 2, 3. All right, so last time I did some Contagious licks. They were all in open position. They all used kind of similar shapes and chords. And this edition of Contagious licks follows a similar theme, where each of the three songs uses pretty much the same chords for their main part that we're going to learn today. The first one I played, you probably recognized it, Sweet Home Alabama. The second one was Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie. And the third one was More Than a Feeling by Boston. So they all use some version of a D chord, a C2 or a C add 9, depending on what you want to call it, and a G. In the case of the David Bowie song and the Boston song, they include a suspension on the D, and I'll get into the details of when and what and how when I get into the more close-up shot, when I'm explaining everything. But I think these are three great licks. They're easy to play. I think there's a fantastic opportunity for you in them because it's three songs that use a lot of the same types of things, but they don't sound the same. I mean, once you play a few songs with power chords, you know, how many... You know, they all kind of do the same thing. Okay, so the first lick I played was the intro to Sweet Home Alabama. It's basically a D chord, a modified C chord, let's say, and a G chord. The whole time you play, you can leave your ring finger on the third fret of the second string. That's what I do, and I think I do that with all of these licks. And remember, there will be tabs down in the description. I need to say that more and more and more all the time. So we'll start out with kind of an abbreviated D chord shape. You don't need to play the F sharp on the E string because you're never going to play that string. So you play the open D twice, then you play the B string followed by the G string, holding down that partial D chord. So the right hand would be like this. All right. The next part is an open A to a C, back to an open A, and back to a C again. And what I did there is I played the A, C, A, C, and then the third fret of the second string and the open third string. So that sounds like this. And I pick it this way. Then I'm going to play an open D to a G on the low E string. And then a G chord, but I don't even worry about playing the high G with my pinky finger. I just leave it off. And my middle finger is muting out the A string, so it won't ring. So you just get a nice clean G5 chord, because all you have in there is a G, a D, a G, and a D. So to run through that again, we're going to go the D chord shape with two open Ds, then a third fret and a second fret of the B and G respectively. Okay, so that's an A, C, and then B string at the third fret and an open G, then open D, and then a G on the low E twice. All right? So the lick that follows and back into the lick again. So that lick is on the A string, it's going to be 0, 2, 0, 2, 0 on the D string, back to 2 on the A string, then a 2 on the G string, and you're going to pull off. So I'm holding that D chord shape, and my index finger goes 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2. Then I use my middle finger to get that A on the G string, and I pull off. And then the lick starts over again. It repeats. Then it does kind of this little hammer-on, pull-off, bouncy lick on the G string where you go, and I'm sliding it. In the original recording, he bends it. But this is meant as a beginner guitar approach to these songs, so it's fine to me if you slide. And so I'm playing 0, 2, 4, 5 to 7. And all the while I'm playing open G's in between. All right, I hope that makes sense. The next lick, and there will be tabs for this one too, is the intro to Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. It starts with a G chord. So what's happening there is I'm playing this G chord that does not include any B's. So I got my middle finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string, I've got my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, and I've got my pinky finger on the 3rd fret of the G string. My middle finger is muting out the A string just by lightly touching it as it crosses over to reach the low E string. Gives it a very clean and steely sound. I love this sound. The next chord is a D chord, including the F sharp. But what I'm doing to animate that a bit is I'm adding on a suspension and removing it. Anytime you take the 3rd scale degree of a chord and replace it with a 2 or the 4, it's called a suspension. Okay, so I'm just playing that, raking my way through that D chord, and then alternating back and forth on the E string until I come back to the 2nd string at the 3rd fret, which is a D. So I'm playing, let's get my hand in position here. All right, should be a pretty familiar shape. Then we get to the, that's the same type of C that you play in Sweet Home Alabama, just kind of a modified C. You're gonna, so all I'm doing there is holding down these 2 notes, the 3rd fret of the A string, the 3rd fret of the D string, and I'm slowly picking through all 4 strings. Then I'm gonna change my middle finger to my index finger on the 2nd fret and play a G over B. Then an open A, then an F sharp on the low E string, and back to a G. And it turns all around again. The next lick is More Than a Feeling by Boston. This part was never ever played on an electric guitar. It was played on a 12-string acoustic in the intro of the song, and it just sounds beautiful. You should check out Rick Beato's video on More Than a Feeling by Boston. It is fantastic. So we're going to start off with a D sus chord. So it's a regular D, but you're going to put your pinky finger down on the 3rd fret while you're holding the rest of the D underneath it, and you're going to play. So I just raked right through from the 4th string to the 1st string. And then I go A, B, C on the low A string, and then open D, open G, then 2nd fret of the A string, open D, open G, then the 3rd fret of the low E string, and then open D. So you get guess that note after the G is another G. Nope, it is a D. I don't know which one it is. Pick one, they'll both sound good. Okay, Dana guitar class, I hope those 3 contagious licks will infect your fingers and you play them non-stop while we're on this crazy long break from playing guitar in class. Hopefully when I see you again, you will be tearing this stuff up. If you have any songs that you would like to learn, please leave them down in the comments. I'll do something with it. Do you have any thoughts on that campfire song? I don't know. It's one that hasn't really gotten a lot of views. You can tell me. Again, tabs down in the description, links to the songs that we played. Please, 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 please practice your guitar, and thank you for playing guitar with me today.